the reality is life's a competition. You're going for a better job. You're going for a better school. You're going for more playing time. Everything's a competition, one way or another.
So how does that square with your notion of not necessarily putting winning as the first priority? Is it the winning in life? Is that the...
Yeah, you want to win in life, and I think when you build habits of not complaining, no excuses, you work hard every day, you show up, all those different things are skills that lead you towards success.
Yeah. Scott Martin, head basketball coach, head of basketball at El Segundo as well?
Head varsity coach at El Segundo.
Head varsity coach at El Segundo.
Yep.
That's a big job.
It is. More than I expected.
Well, explain what that means.
I mean, I've been an assistant there for 4 or 5 years now. It's my 10th year total in the program. I've coached every level in the program. Started as the sophomore coach, JV coach, varsity assistant. Now I'm the head coach in the program.
Is that the traditional track? If people are trying to get into coaching, is that the track to do? Is to get involved in a high school program and work your way through the ranks?
Well, most people bounce around more. I'm an alumni of El Segundo High School. Been in the program, love the kids. I wouldn't coach anywhere else.
Why not?
It's the place I want to coach at. There's college coaching that's never really interested me. Other high schools, kind of for what? If I'm going to coach somewhere, it's going to be here.
Right.
Yeah.
So you grew up in El Segundo?
Grew up in I grew up in the Weisburn School District. So went to Dana, Cabrillo, Burnett. For high school, went over to El Segundo, and I've been there ever since.
So for people who are listening outside of Southern California, and there are more than a few, where is El Segundo in relation to everything else in Los Angeles?
Well, the biggest kind of landmark, you have LAX, which is a stone's throw away from the high school. So you have LAX, which is on Imperial Avenue. We're right down the street from LA Times, the Los Angeles Lakers practice facility. The Chargers are coming to town. So it's a big, really sports-centric town. We just had the Little League World Series championship.
It's kind of an incredible sports town,
Yep.
actually. And for a town of, 15,000 people, 20,000 people?
Yeah, it's low. I mean, it balloons during the day because you have the big contractors, Northrop Grumman,
Well, we're going to get to that.
Base, and all that
That's
stuff.
all in El Segundo as well?
All in El Segundo.
So you have Boeing as well?
Boeing, I don't know. We have Raytheon, we have Northrop Grumman, and we have LA Air Force Base, which is massive also.
All there.
All there.
Then you have the Lakers facility, the Kings facility.
Yep, Chargers are coming in too.
That's incredible. All in El Segundo.
All in El Segundo.
So El Segundo, as you mentioned, is right south of LAX on the west side of the 405 and
Yep.
north of the Manhattan Redondo,
Yep.
Hermosa Beach trifecta.
Correct.
So it's a little hamlet,
Yep.
but it's this powerhouse of sport, which is a really
And it's a
interesting thing.
Midwestern vibe too.
So explain what that means.
You have Main Street, the community that's really involved in everything. Kind of everyone knows each other, kind of culture in some way, shape, or form. So like the community aspect of El Segundo is very unique, especially in a metropolitan city. For our Little League World Series stuff, I mean, the homecoming and all that stuff was incredible to see those kids get that, that love.
You talked about it. You guys won this year.
Yeah, won this year.
So I was driving through town before one event, and then I realized that before another event, you guys shut down Main Street, had everybody gathering on like it's twice, exactly.
Yeah, twice.
And fire trucks and
SWAT team, the whole thing.
To celebrate these guys.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So it's almost impossible to do that in Los Angeles, because Los Angeles, the whole thing is you come to this huge city and you get lost, or you get. Well, actually, the first lesson I ever learned when I showed up here, I ran into a guy I went to high school with. This was after college for me, and he was in between a year going from undergrad to law school. And he said it's the biggest city he's ever been in by far, but he never felt more alone. It's just tough for him to get a purchase point. But El Segundo is this little tiny community.
Like bubble.
It's incredible.
It's a great community.
So, and you grew up there. You went to high school there.
Went to high school there. I work in town, live in town, so it's all in the same kind of area code. This
podcast has now turned into a El Segundo Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, there we go.
Welcome video. So you coach there. What is it like working in a place where most, if not all, the families? You've seen them come up. Are they easier on you? Are they harder on you? Is there more accountability? Are they more demanding?
I mean, our parents are great. I mean, I can't complain. They're super supportive. The kids have been really bought in. I mean, we've been going 4 to 6 days a week with games and everything since back in the spring. So the buy-in's been incredible. The parents have been supportive.
Good academic school as well.
Good academic school. I mean, one of our goals as a team is to have the highest GPA on campus as a collective group.
How you doing with that?
We're getting there. I mean, I'm on the kids hard about their grades because eventually they're going to stop playing. So we want them to go to the best school possible. We had a lot of alumni come back, which I think has been really great, and come talk to the kids. And they're in their career path now too.
What kind of alumni? What are they doing?
So, I mean, we've had Jacob Franco. He was here around last week. He just graduated from Pepperdine. He's getting into sports management, the sports field. Have had Dylan O'Bear, who's one of our alumni also. He's at Texas Tech finishing up with an economics degree. I mean, I'm getting up there to the point where I've seen these guys who I coach in high school graduate college and then, go into their careers. It's incredible.
How does that feel? Yeah, how does that feel knowing that you had some small or maybe larger than small impact on them?
I mean, that's the main thing. I mean, winning and losing, that's that's obviously an important part of the whole thing, but setting them up with life skills, be successful in college, be responsible, be organized, have that teamwork mentality, have those leadership mentalities. That's the most important thing when it comes to coaching. All the other stuff is just little details. There's no reason to get so into your record and all this stuff. Like, if your kids are bought in, they work hard, and they're committed, you're going to win games. But are you also giving them those skills to be successful long term? I think that's the most important part of our program is we're doing a lot of stuff to make sure these kids are successful.
You teach that to the kids?
100%.
Is that what you espouse to the parents as well?
100%. They know it's a student athlete. You're a student and you're an athlete. Student comes first for a reason. So I think the parents have been great with that stuff too. And, doing the little we do sports psychology with our team. We do team trips and team bonding. I think that stuff is so important to this generation.
What kind of team trips, team bonding?
Like, we went to Palm Springs this summer.
Yep.
We did a 3-day trip out there. We just came back from Santa Barbara 2 weeks ago. Went up there, stayed the night, went to UCSB, did some team bonding activities. Especially with the kids, going through COVID, it was Zoom learning. It was not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So I think it's important for them to be collectively together and buying into each other, which I think that's one of the areas we've been really successful with early.
Well, you were about to say something when I cut you off that it's now more important than ever for bonding. Why is that?
I think the COVID stuff where the kids are Zoom learning, they're socially isolated. I think, you have to really put time into them, bonding with each other, buying into their coaches, having that experience piece for the basketball. So you can't just be in practice every day and go to games. It has to be fun. It has to be exciting. There has to be a level of buy-in. There has to be goal-oriented stuff going on.
So you've been able to have a bit of a longitudinal study with that. You were with some of your teams before COVID, during COVID, after COVID.
Yep.
Have you noticed, beyond what you've already articulated, any other kind of shift or impact that COVID had on their development, emotionally, athletically, or otherwise?
That's a great question. I think kids are resilient. I think they're catching up quickly. I think, having our sports psychology piece, I think, has been really important for us.
When did you implement that?
Like a month ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
What was the impetus for it?
I think it's become part of sports. It's a really growing part of the athletic industry, the sports industry, where mental health is important. So you have to break down what's important for the kids, where they need to work on, spiritually, emotionally, physically. All that stuff comes into play with a good basketball team. The Lakers, the Clippers, they all have those kind of people.
And so it's now trickled down or adjusted down into. Talk to me about that in general. This notion of the adjustment down of the culture of pro sports down into high school, college, JUCO, beyond, maybe junior high.
Oh, it's huge. The media aspect. The kids want the media stuff at the games, the gear, all the stuff you see the sports teams doing. Even the fan environment. All that stuff is becoming more and more important to get people out to the games, to get the kids excited. Sports for the most part is a business, not in the high school space. But, when you see the Clippers, the Lakers, the South Bay Lakers, even the G League stuff, they put a lot of effort into promoting their games, doing special nights, doing gear giveaways, all that kind of stuff just to build excitement for the team, which gets the kids excited, which is the most important part. So we do community sponsors that, buy banners for us. We'll do t-shirt giveaways, stuff like that, just to get the community excited. El Segundo will support a winning product, as we saw with the World Series. So, if when we win games this year, I think, we'll get a lot of community support because of it.
So I understand what impact it is for the community to support sport, but how does it go in the opposite direction? Other than you have a great case study with the World Series, but your basketball program, how does it fit into the community? How does it give back to the community?
Well, that's a great question. El Segundo has always been a sports-centric town. Even was it the homecoming football game on Friday? Yeah. Everyone's there. It's packed. We get the same kind of love on the basketball side. I think it's one of those things, just Lakers, Clippers is a good example. When the Lakers are winning, they're selling out games. Yeah. When they're losing, they're not. So I think for us, it's the same thing. If we put a good product in before we win early, the community will show up and support us. And we got moved to Division 5 this year, which is a huge opportunity for us.
What does that mean?
So CIF builds in a division. It's the last year of that model. So we're a Division III team, dropped all the way to Division V team. So there's the 5A and 5AA. We're in 5A. So for us, that's an opportunity when we do get to the playoffs to actually go on a run. Just because we've dropped so many divisions, we've had a rough couple of years. But hopefully, with how we're looking now, that we have success here in the future.
So how are you looking now? How have you built back from where the rough couple of years landed you?
I mean, we're working our tail off. I mean, we're in the gym 6 to 8 o'clock every night. We're playing 4 to 6 games a week. We're hitting the weight room. We're doing everything possible. And the most important thing when you do something like that is the kids are bought in. Our kids are all in. So, if they're all in, then I'm going to be more bought into them. So I think that's why we're really excited about this year is, a lot of teams start, like the official start date is October 16th for the season.
Yep.
We've already been going for 4 months every day.
So when you say that, people who don't know the culture of Southern California basketball or club basketball, how have you been going for 4 months without going for 4 months?
So,
part of your school.
Yeah, so it breaks into, so after your season you have spring league, which, scrimmages, practices, stuff like that. Then you roll right into summer league.
Yep.
And then you have a dead period in there, which for us was August, so we took all of August off. And then as soon as your dead period's over, you're in fall ball doing the same thing. So Southern California, basketball really never stops. And then you roll right into October 16th as your start date for the actual season. And then you just keep going. I think the more you work, the more rewards that are there. I mean, it's a life skill too. The harder you work, the more success you see. And I think our kids have kind of bought into that mentality.
So where do you get that from? Did you learn that when you were going to Elskono? Did you pick that up along the way in terms of this idea of the balance of student athlete, the balance of hard work, and knowing that there's life beyond basketball that you need to prepare people for?
Yeah, I mean, I think my parents probably number one. I mean, my mom came over from Luxembourg, single mom, built.
Single mom from Luxembourg?
Yeah, so my sister came over with my sister, married my dad here, and then here I am. But came over from Luxembourg, built a career in aerospace, learned English, the whole deal.
Learned English when she was in the United States?
Yeah, when she went to the United States.
As a single mom?
Yeah, as a single
working
mom.
Full-time job, the pressure of all those things?
Yeah, she worked at Chapman College and ended up finishing with Lacey Aerospace.
Wow.
Yeah, so
she's not a unintelligent woman.
No,
nor
grinder,
a non-driven. Wow.
Hard worker. My dad was a chiropractor. My grandpa was a doctor, so he got into that field. Again, entrepreneur, worked hard.
I know you work very hard. I know the body of your work. That's where you get it from? Your mom?
That's
your
what
dad?
I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I have some, like my mentor Ryan Silver too. I mean, he works his tail off too. So I think I've been surrounded by like a lot of hardworking people. Yeah. And then you start, working harder. It's the same thing.
Or do you also search that out because that's the culture you're used to?
I think that's a culture I'm used to. With how I grew up, the mentors in my life. People who work really hard, like nothing's given to you. You have to work hard for it, and I think I've really bought into that.
So it sounds like it's a bit of nurture in nature, right?
Yeah.
So it's what you're drawn to, but also what you come from.
Yep.
Which one is it more of?
That's a great question. I think it's a little bit of both, honestly.
Sure. But which one more, if you had to? Are you modeling? And you following after your model, or are you just driven and built that way?
I think probably driven and built that way to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Just because, when you want something, you have to go get it. It takes hard work, it takes dedication. Our whole program we started in the spring was no complaints, no excuses. Like,
really?
That was like our motto, and like always having a standard of excellence.
That's accountability. I feel like there might be a bit of a disconnect with a certain subset of, maybe every generation feels this way. The kids, coming along, they're going to ruin the world unless they figure it out, and every generation figures it out. But it does feel like there's a lack of accountability in a certain subset. So that's what you teach. The kids are resistant to that, or they're open to it?
I mean, our kids don't complain and they don't make excuses. So when people say that, it's like, that might be true for certain groups.
Yeah.
But, my kids show up to practice every day. They work hard. They don't complain. They don't make excuses. And they know that they're going to be held to a standard of excellence. You want to be the best.
So getting back to this notion of preparing them for life after basketball, we're here at this tournament.
Yep.
I think every kid here has aspirations to play, or I don't want to say every, but let's say 93.25% of the kids here believe they will play and have aspirations to play in the pros.
Yep.
Do you talk to the kids about the fact that the probability of doing that is very low, or do you let them dream that and just keep working them hard? Like, how do you handle that? Because they're young men in very formative years, wet cement years of their life, where they're very tuned to lies or bull crap, all that stuff.
I think, we're in a unique situation where I work in basketball. So if kids do want to play at the next level, I'm uniquely qualified to help them with that.
What do you mean?
So, I work in the recruiting space, in the AAU space. So, I have a large network of college coaches that, I get guys in front of. So when we have had guys that wanted to play in college, we're pretty successful at doing that, at least giving them the opportunity. But I also think our kids are realistic where they're at. Just from an evaluation standpoint, we're honest with them. And we always meet with our players too on a personal level, saying, hey, what do you want to do? And we're going to support you, and we're going to push as far as we can. But, I think they understand we probably don't have any NBA players, but could some of our guys play Division III, Division II, NAIA? I mean, it's possible. They just have to go for it. That's where the grades come in huge. Because if your grades aren't good, you're closing doors. The better your grades are, the more doors that are opening.
It's just that simple.
In my opinion, especially in this, in this environment, if you're a 4.0 plus kid, you haven't really, taken yourself off of the radar of anybody, because you can get admitted to these Division III schools.
Yep.
But
if D3 schools, for people who don't know, D3 schools, how do they differ from 2 or 1?
Smaller. It's more aid-based, so need-based, which is based on your family's financial situation, or merit-based based on your grades. So the grades come important again.
But they don't give away athletic scholarships.
No scholarships, but the aid's phenomenal at most of these schools. So if you go to one of these schools, you're going to a top 100 university, U.S. News and World Report. You're getting a phenomenal education. Division III basketball is more competitive than it's ever been before. So you're playing real basketball with great coaches. I mean, you saw Greg Popovich's Hall of Fame speech. He called out Coach Katz over at Pomona Pitzer.
Yeah.
I mean, he coached.
And you know Coach Katz.
Yeah, I know Coach Katz. His son Charlie played in our program too, my club program. So, I mean, all those guys are phenomenal at what they do, and you're getting the athletic part, but you're also getting the educational part, which is a phenomenal kind of pairing.
Which part of the dynamic buys in more? The parents, do they buy in more to that, or the kids?
It's a good question. I think, college basketball has gotten so competitive that I think people are slowly but surely becoming more realistic. Like,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Saying you're a Division I player, like, what does that mean? Unless you have a Division I scholarship, you're not a Division I player yet. So you have to keep your eyes open. Being a Division III guy, going to Grinnell, going to Tufts, going to Occidental, like, you're playing high-level basketball and you're getting a great education, and it's hard to do.
And effectively, if there's needs-based scholarships, you could be getting. It's not the same thing as an athletic scholarship, but it looks and smells.
Oh, there's
similar.
kids that go to school for free
who are playing basketball.
In Division III, 100%.
And that basketball, even though they're not getting basketball scholarships, it might help in them getting into one of those schools.
Correct. So that's the big thing. It's, basketball could be that X factor to get them into a Colorado college or a Puget Sound. Just because they have that little extra push, then if they meet the need-based or academic requirements, they're high, the need-based in the right place and the academics in the right place, you can go to school for free. You can even get paid some money to go there.
So parents who have aspirations for the kids to go to college, play ball, get a scholarship, help maybe offset some of the costs of living and raising kids, they might think a little bit more creatively or liberally about what it means to actually get your kid into college to play basketball.
100%.
That's changed a lot in the last 10 years.
A lot. I mean, everyone wants to chase the Division I dream, but the reality is that's a very, very small percentage. And with the transfer portal stuff you see now too, like
international players.
Yeah, I mean, you have the transfer portal number 1, then you have JUCOs, you have prep schools. So your high school kids are like number 4 in the pecking order.
So say that again. You have transfer portal.
Transfer
number
portal.
1.
You have the junior colleges.
Meaning that literally are built to facilitate the kids going from junior college to a D1 program.
Exactly. Prep schools.
What's the difference there for people?
Kids take an extra year to a postgraduate. It's really popular on the East Coast. More popular. Sports-centric schools that also have an educational component that play national schedules, play really good competition.
Are those different than these academies?
Same kind of idea.
Okay.
Same idea, and then
like a finishing school for basketball.
Yeah, like a postgrad, you do an extra year out of high school. You reclass. If you're a 24, you'd be a 25. You're a year older. You spend a year developing.
When you say 24 versus 25, you mean 2024?
Yeah, 2024. So you graduate this year. You want to do an extra year. You're going to reclass in the class of 25.
Does that happen a lot for parents who don't know what's going on? Does that happen a lot?
From my perspective on the West Coast, it's been more of holding your kids back in 8th grade, which is, a one way of doing it. But then you see on the East Coast, a lot of people do the, give me an extra year of high school or prep school, whatever you want to call it, to get ready for the college climate and for the recruiting piece and everything.
Where do you stand on that? The reclass, the holding back, the adjusting? Do you feel like that's Some parents might feel like, no, that's what I'm going to do. And in any other category, I could do that. And other parents might feel like, well, that's cheating a little bit. So how do you?
I mean, if I had my kid, it would be a post grad year, because as an 8th grader, you're kind of dice rolling. Like you're 14 years old, 13 years old, who knows what they're going to be? It's hard. I mean, there's no like formula to know if they're going to be good or bad. If they're going to even like basketball as a senior.
Therefore, you're putting at 8th grade, you're committing them to something that might.
Yeah, and then they're not building those relationships as quickly with their friends and all those groups and everything like that. When you do a post grad year, I mean, you're going off to a New Hampton or an IMG Academy or whatever it is, but you're not in the home anymore. You're in a school.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more sports focused for sure, but you're building towards something.
And these happen, by the way, also in soccer and volleyball.
Oh yeah.
So those are all the ways, some of the ways that the nature of what college basketball is, scholarship basketball for college, has changed in the last 5 years. There's also
100%.
international players.
A lot of different stuff is going on.
So the pressure is you have a kid 10 years ago, you think, okay, we know, assuming the kid's going to be athletic, we know what we're going to do, husband or wife, 2 husbands, 2 wives, whatever, know what they're going to do to matriculate this kid.
Yeah.
They show up in the world now, and the world has changed.
It's different. Yeah, there's no playbook to this recruiting stuff. And my whole perspective has always been, you're going to stop playing basketball eventually.
Yeah.
You might as well get the best degree possible. When my guys have graduated from Carnegie Mellon and Claremont, and these different schools, like, they're set up for success. That's
for life success.
For life. You're gonna stop playing basketball at some point. So you might as well set yourself up to have a good career, to have a nice home, all the different stuff.
Mike McGrath talks about that. He talks about the fact that all of his guys, quite a few millionaires, multimillionaires, and billionaires in that group, and I think, I don't know if it was him or someone, when we interviewed him, someone talking about him saying he's graduated more multimillionaires and billionaires than any other.
I believe it.
Yeah, than Krzyzewski or anybody else, based upon, so that's your notion that for the predominance of kids, they're going to go off and do other things. You want to set them up.
100%. I mean, they're not doing well in the classroom. You're setting yourself back. Life's a competition. I know we are kind of like the participation trophy kind of thing.
How do you feel about those?
I mean, the reality is life's a competition. You're going for a better job. You're going for a better school. You're going for more playing time. Everything's a competition, one way or another.
So how does that square with your notion of not necessarily putting winning as the first priority? Is it the winning in life? Is that the...
Yeah, you want to win in life. And I think when you build habits of, not complaining, no excuses, you work hard every day, you show up, all those different things are skills that lead you towards success.
Yeah. When you, and we're running up against time, so I'll get you out here in a sec. When you look for young men to come into your program, are you looking for what? How can you identify that they're going to be the right group for what you're looking for? Are you looking for height? Are you looking for talent? Are you looking for grit? Are you looking for good academic standing?
All the above. It's the same thing with our freshmen. Like we don't really cut freshmen because you just don't know. You have to give them some kind of opportunity. And then we have our JV team, which we're building the next crop. I mean, size never hurts, but we want tough, hardworking, blue-collar kids that will take care of business in the classroom, work hard on the court, be respectful to their coaches, be respectful to their officials, all those different things. And those are the type of kids we have, which goes back to my kind of first statement, is I don't think I would coach anywhere else, just because we have the kids that grow up in El Segundo, even some kids from out of the area that are on the team. Like, these are great kids.
Yeah.
These are who you want to be around. Because high school, you're not in the business of making money coaching high school basketball. You have to love it. You have to love the kids. You have to enjoy the journey, all those different things. There's no monetary component when it comes to coaching high school basketball. It's all about developing the future kind of leaders of America, the leaders of society, and making sure they're in a good place when they leave the program, that they're successful.
El Segundo made you. You're making El Segundo. Scott Martin, thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you joining us. I'll catch up with you later, and we'll have another talk.
Let's do it.
That sounds great. Thanks.
That's great, man.